Good evening, friends and family, and thank you for coming to another night with Repair, Restore, and Grow Black Communities behind Black business. And we have our second um, part of Sensational Heating and Air with David Mason. And as you can see, David is just getting off from a job
Yes, yes.
and he is in his truck, and this shows real dedication. And I really appreciate you taking your time out to be with us tonight, David. Thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So we had to abruptly complete what we were doing last week, but we're coming back again for part two. This was such a interesting interview. A lot of information, a lot of important information. And so this is one of our businesses in our communities, Sensational Heating and Air, which is an HVAC system company that is Black owned. Um,
Hmm.
this is important. This is big, and we will be talking about that part of it more later in the show. But uh, sensational heating and air can be contacted at sensationalheating.com if you want to go to their website. And you can also contact them via phone at 773-597-7585. Now, as you know, we're a nonprofit organization and we are working to enhance the awareness and support of Black businesses. Black businesses are a part of a community, and the community has different components to it. And supporting the Black businesses are huge for a community to thrive. And that's why
Hmm.
we're pushing to enhance that awareness here with Repair, Restore, and Grow Black Communities. And that's why we bring you podcasts of Black business owners every Wednesday night. And we do have a lot of Black businesses here in Chicago, contrary to what many people may think. We are also great proponents of our bookstores. We have a number of Black bookstores here in Chicago. Some are brick and mortar, some are online. You can go to our website at rrgbc.org, and we have our bookstores listed on our website. And we think so much of our bookstores because that knowledge is important. I think that's what we're lacking. We're lacking an understanding of who we are. And I'm learning, David, that there are many other people from this country and people from other countries who really do not know and appreciate the Black community and the Black contribution of those people who are descendants of slaves in this country.
Hmm.
We built this country, and
We
there is
did.
nothing that we have not, no area that we have not contributed to. And there's been so
Hmm.
many ways that we've been undermined and ignored. And that's something that in the horizon is changing. There are people out here trying to help people to understand that, and not knowing history and looking at how history has been changed and snuffed out, and people
Yes, yes.
don't know the truth of things. It's so important, and so this was why people like ourselves and so many other people are out here pushing the issue of our importance. And
Hmm.
our bookstores are very important. We used to have
They
22
are.
Black bookstores here in Chicago, so that means a lot of people were reading, and a lot of people still are reading, contrary to what
Hmm.
a lot of individuals may think. And we have a number of bookstores, and we feature a Black bookstore on our website every month. The bookstore that we're featuring this month is still Frontline Bookstore. And Frontline does have an online presence, frontline.com. Uh, and you can contact them, and please go to their website. There's some very profound readings and information. And Brother Say Cool, who is the owner of the Frontline Bookstore, he himself has so much knowledge. He's been on our podcast before, and we're very
Mm.
appreciative of his presence and his support. And so, in supporting our Black bookstores, we also have a book giveaway. And Brother Say Cool chose The Grounding with My Brothers by Walter Rodney. He's a
Mm-hmm.
Guyanese intellect activist, and he supports the working class in terms of their thinking more political on an international level. He's talked about mass movements and has inspired many revolutionaries in this read. So we ask that you go to our website. All you have to do is subscribe to become a winner. And if we select your name, you will receive a copy of this book free of charge. All we ask is that you look at our bookstores and look at supporting our bookstores. I know most people are getting your books from Amazon, but he has a beautiful website, and there's a list of books on there that you probably haven't seen or heard of that you need to be reading. And
Mm.
so
Okay.
go to his website, go to our website and subscribe. We pay for the book and the delivery of the book to you. And we also want to get our Black bookstores an opportunity to have contracts with the city, like the public schools and like the libraries. So we're asking you to go to Save Black Bookstores Chicago at change.org and sign our petition. And then finally, we also support the Southside Community Federal Credit Union, which is located at 55th and Wentworth in the shopping mall. They've been there for over 20 years, and they have many products for you. You can get car loans, you can get home loans, you can get other types of loans in lieu of those very high priced payday loans, where many of
Mm.
you are paying over 300 and 400%, which is just unimaginable.
Oh, what outrageous. Mm-hmm.
It is. And you get into those kind of loans, they say, 80% of the people turn the loans over in 30 days. So you're losing so much money. And they will also
Mm.
give you financial literacy training to help you get better handle on your finances. So this is a Black institution that has been in our community, and they care about our community. And we know that in order for banks to stay afloat, they need you to open up accounts. That's how they make their
Mm-hmm.
money. They make their money off of your money, the money that you have sitting in their banks. So please
Mm-hmm.
consider opening up an account at the Southside Community Federal Credit Union. Okay. And then you can go to our website, rrgbc.org, where you can make donations to help our efforts. And we also have an online store. Any purchases there go towards helping us to handle this podcast and some of the other works that we do as an organization to enhance the awareness and support of Black businesses. All right. So, David, where we left off, I want to recap a little bit first.
Mm-hmm.
David has a heating and cooling business, and I don't think we have a lot of Black people in this field, and especially people who have their own businesses. Would you say I'm correct?
100% correct. That's true.
Uh-huh. And so I did read something, I think it was in 2022. We had a first, at least it was advertised, Pride, a company called Pride in the Midwest was identified as one of the first Black owned heating and cooling businesses in the Midwest. And then we have Sensational Air here on our
Mm-hmm.
program tonight. And So this is how many people are not calling for heating and cooling issues. You know, in the wintertime when the furnace goes out, in the summertime when it's hot and the air conditioning system goes out. Uh, we learn quickly how crucial your services are. And
Mm-hmm.
so, in recapping what we talked about last week, we mentioned how you got started, and there were several things that you indicated in terms of the importance of certification, the
Mm-hmm.
importance of looking at tuition expenses, and training. And I'd like for you to kind of just give a general synopsis.
Okay, so pretty much as far as like for like training as far as you can easily go to HVAC school, and they are pretty much like you can get financial assistance, and they'll pretty much cover your tuition. Sometimes you probably may not be able to get financial assistance, so you get pay out of pocket. I was one of the few who didn't get a lot of financial assistance, so I paid out of pocket as well. So it was half and half. I got,
Mhm.
5,000 for financial assistance, and the other 5,000 came out of my pocket. So
Okay.
I would actually, even though I feel like that, I shouldn't have came out of my pocket because I feel like some education should be free. But
Hmm.
hey, it is what it is. Um, you know, it was easy for me to say that I choose certifications over degrees is because I was one of the few who was pursuing college, and I just felt like that, my certification of HVAC was more valuable than my engineering degree. Some people may beg to differ, but I beg to differ on my end because I see how successful I am with my HVAC company with my certification. Now as far as like continuously your education, our suppliers where we buy our equipment from with HVAC, we can always continue our education. We can sign up for classes, and we can get additional training, if we need so. And then if I have technicians, I can send them to, uh our part supplier stores, and they can continue their education as well, pretty much follow up on different things that they probably need to brush up on, so they can be more successful out here in the field, so we can continue helping the community.
Okay. So now, when you mention, and not to down an engineering degree, but I know a lot of people that come out of school with engineering degrees, and some people with PhDs in engineering struggle getting positions, getting jobs.
Yes. So I know about three engineers. I know one drafting engineer, and I know one mechanical engineer, and I know one uh what's that, computer science engineer,
Hmm.
software engineer, whatever they call it. It's a lot of systematic racism, when it comes to the black community. And
Hmm.
also it's like we're kind of like at the bottom of the totem pole, because if you look at the percentages when it comes to engineering, it's not that many people who does it. It's majority of, other races. You have whites, you have Indians, you have Mexicans. It's only about last time when I was going to college for it back in 2017, it was only about 3% of the black Americans who was actually pursuing, engineering. And a
Hmm.
lot of them slip through the cracks. Some of them just, give up, don't want to do it anymore. So engineering is a good field, but
Hmm.
it's that pretty much that systematic racism that still occurs in these different types of fields. And
Wow.
but we do need more black businesses because we need to pour into our own communities, and it's not to take away from other races, but we can't let any other race speak for us because we have to speak for our own people. They don't understand, our race as much as a person who is a part of our race, uh, who understands those struggles and who understands what we need.
Mm-hmm.
If you look in, you know, uh, the aldermans that's in Chicago, you have an alderman that's over Sunrise Chinatown. I mean, she's Chinese. So
Mm-hmm.
of course they're
Okay, we lost
my
Dave.
apology.
Okay.
Did it mess up?
No, you okay. You're fine. Keep going. Uh-oh. Okay. Okay, David, can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Hello?
Okay, I can hear you, David. Can you hear me? Oh, can you hear me now?
I can you hear me now?
Okay, I can hear you. Okay. So you were talking about the alderman of Chinatown. Okay, let's see. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, I'm not sure what's going on. You blacked out for a minute, and then when you came back, and now you can't hear me.
I can't hear.
Can you hear me now? Okay, we're having some technical difficulties here. David is in his truck. Let's see what's going on, family. Hello, David.
Yeah, I can't hear. I can't hear you at all. I can see you. I can see you moving, but I can't hear you.
Okay, well, I didn't touch anything. You blanked out. Your
Oh,
your picture went out, and then when you came back in, then you weren't able to hear me.
yeah, I still can't hear you. I can only hear you through the phone. That you want? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, so you want us to do it over the phone, and I can just you speak from there.
Um, then I'm not sure how that's going to work. Um, so you still can't hear me?
No, I can only hear you through my phone.
Okay, let me see if there's anything I can do here. Default microphone. Let's see if this makes I don't know if this makes any difference. Can you hear me now?
I can only still hear you through my phone.
Well, hi, how you advise. Can you hear me now?
Uh-uh.
Okay, I'm back to where we were. Okay, so did you click something on your phone, David?
I'm clicking the microphone. When I click the microphone, only thing I can see you moving. I can see your everything.
Okay, are you able to hear me now?
The phone.
Hmm. Okay, well, let's try and continue this where you can hear me over the phone, and I hope this records adequately. Okay, so you were talking about Chinatown, right? Okay, now I can't hear you, David. What's happened? I can't hear you. No, I can't. Because at first I was able to hear you. No, I can hear you on my phone. I have to be able to hear you on the screen, and I can't. I was able to hear you on the phone and on the monitor. Okay, friends and family, we're having some technical difficulties here. David is trying to do this interview from his truck because he just finished up a job, and we're trying to see if we can get him back on.
All right, what about now? Can you hear me now?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, still. I can hear
Can you hear me at all? Okay, let's see if we can get David back on the phone here because I really would like to complete this interview. This is very important information, and I'm not sure what happened. Um,
Hello?
okay, so can you hear me, David?
Yeah, I can hear you from the phone.
You can hear me from the phone. Okay, so
Mm.
let's see if we can work it like this and see how it comes out.
Okay.
Okay, all right. So you were talking about the businesses in Chinatown,
Mm-hmm.
the aldermen rather in Chinatown and their representation.
So what I was saying about Chinatown is that they have their own person that's speaking for them. So we need our own people who's going to speak for us. Now, as Black Americans, we cannot speak for the Chinese community because we don't know anything about it. We can't speak for the Mexican community because we don't know anything about it. We'll pretty much be living in retrospect, and we'll be pretty much like stepping out of our field, out of our own race, out of our own culture. So it's the same thing for us as the Black community. You know, the Mexican community can't speak for the Black community. The white community can't speak for the Black community. You know, now as a person who's maybe like a governor or maybe a president, of course they can make laws as a whole for the whole entire country. But when it comes to different wards, we need a person who represents us.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. And that's something that is lacking. And actually, something I want to talk about a little later, because I would like to talk to you about reparations. And okay, now I can hear me coming back on the audio.
Mm.
Is there some kind of way you can put that in your ear? Because it sounds like a feedback.
All right, what about now?
Can you hear me?
Mm.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, I want to talk about this more a little later because I want to talk about reparations and I want to talk about what creates a community and what you're talking about when you're talking about aldermen. and representatives, people, leadership in the community, um, and what a community actually is, that's what's important. So we want to
Yes.
talk about, I want to talk about that a little bit later when we get into the conversation, because I do want to ask you what you think about reparations, because that's a big conversation on the table right now. Um, but also getting back to your HVAC business, we see that there's discrimination. And again, one of the reasons why we started this organization is because we have so many people from these other communities who have this level of organization in their communities, but then they're all working in our communities,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no vested interest in our communities. And it's important that we begin to delineate ourselves so that everything just doesn't get all muddled up like we're all the same. That's where the conversation goes when it comes to talking about a Black community. We're all
Yeah.
the same. We know we have all of these different communities of ethnic groups. Like you say, they have a right to exist. We're happy to have so many different ethnic groups in this country for the different experiences that you can have.
Mm-hmm.
But we have a right to exist, and that's what we're fighting for. Now, when you get into, you talked about the certification, how important it is to get a certification when you come out. And that's something
Mm-hmm.
you talked about before, people coming out of school with degrees and not certifications. Because when you come out with a certification, then you're more than likely able to walk right into a position and people know that you're trained and you're skilled. You have the
Mm-hmm.
licenses that are necessary to do the work. They don't have to hire you and train you.
Absolutely.
So that is very important. And when we look at the HVAC system, I would also like to you to briefly recap the types of services that you provide.
Mm-hmm. So we offer service, which is servicing your unit. We offer replacements, and we offer repairs.
Hmm.
So we do repair, service, maintenance, installations, free estimates. You pretty much you name it. We service boiler systems. We service furnaces. They have different types of HVAC systems out here. They It's not a one size fit all in every single home. So whatever the customer probably may need, they can always call us and we can always walk them through on what they may need. We are very reasonable as a company. We
Hmm.
actually want to help the community and not hurt the community. You
Sure.
know, um, if a person, if they say, hey, well, I'm a veteran. We offer veteran discounts. If you are a senior, 55 plus, we offer senior discounts. So we're
Yay.
all for our community. We
Hmm.
want to help our community. We want to pour it back into our community because that's what we need. We don't need a company who doesn't care. They're
That's right.
taking their money and they taking it back to their community. They're taking
That's
our
right.
money, our tax dollars, and they take it back to their community. That's what we don't want. When we pay our tax for our business, we want to invest that back into our wards.
That's right. And that is so, I mean, that's what this is all about. Is
Hmm.
it's a cyclical uh, eh, uh, uh, um, experience, and everybody is supporting everyone. And you got people with different views and different groups and different beliefs and so on and so forth, but we're all working for the greater good of the community. So
Hmm.
that's what's important, and and you're able to give back when people are supporting you. So you're able to give those discounts. I'm happy when I get those senior discounts, no matter how much it is. It's a help, and it also just makes you feel appreciated.
Yes.
And so I'm happy to hear that you're doing that. When we also look at this. field that you're in, there's so many other opportunities. I was reading about. I know you install units, you repair units, but then there's sales. There's opportunities for management positions in different companies. Can you
Hmm.
talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so it's different avenues that you can go with this. You can even go union if you wanted to, where you only work on commercial and industrial and even refrigeration, like supermarket refrigeration. You know, Walmart is coming out with their own technicians now. So
Okay.
they're hiring their own in-house technicians to pretty much like cut out the middleman so they can have them service their units pretty much around the clock 24/7. Now
Mm-hmm.
they probably may pay those technicians, top dollar for having their own in-house technicians. You even have building automation, HVAC. You have different pretty much automation companies that do HVAC. It's
Mm-hmm.
so many different avenues that you could take with this. You know,
Wow.
you have what HVAC, so you have four letters of HVAC and then also refrigeration. So you pretty much have HVAC-R. You have five different avenues that you can take in this. You can do sheet metal, where you just work on sheet metal 24/7. You
Mm-hmm.
can you can do steam boilers, where you work on big steam boilers all the time because you have steam fitters, you have pipe fitters, you have refrigeration union companies. So it's a lot of different ways that you can pretty much make money in HVAC. That's why
Mm-hmm.
I call it. The other technicians call it no HVAC, no light because you need HVAC.
Mm-hmm.
HVAC makes the world go round.
And then there's the design, coming in and designing
All
HVAC
right, I
systems. Because
forgot about that.
I recalled when we did rehab on my grandparents' home, and we made some changes in the heating system. So
Mm-hmm.
it was a lot of work and thought that had to go into how they were going to set that forced air system up. Because a lot of people went from radiators to forced air units. I know when they did a lot of remodeling,
Mm-hmm.
and so if there's, I say there's nothing like radiator heat, especially when you have high ceilings or big home, big rooms. They really heat the house. But a lot
Yeah.
of people went to the forced air units, and you got to know how to design it properly so when the heat comes out, it's going to warm that place up or cool it down
Right.
as you would need it to. So that whole design part of it is important.
Right. And that's very true as well. And I also want to kind of talk about that a little bit now that you mentioned that
Mm-hmm.
because, HVAC, furnaces is not a one size fit all. So you have to make sure that it's sized properly.
Mm-hmm.
Don't always try to go to the most cheapest, the most cheapest bid, 'cause the cheapest bid don't always win. But the
Mm-hmm.
most expensive bid doesn't always win either. But always do your own research. Try to go with a reputable company. My company is pretty reputable, Sensational Heating and Cooling. Um, we give free second opinions. you know um Sometimes a customer can may go pay somebody who has no uh HVAC background. They probably don't have any certifications. You really have no means of way to contact this person after they installed your system.
Mm-hmm.
We give labor warranty, we give parts warranty. So if anything that was to be defective with your system, we come back out. We go behind some customers after they didn't pay the contractor and they didn't install it correctly, and now they can't take that person to court because it's just like how you gonna find them.
Mm.
So that's a big
Yeah,
problem in
that
our
was
community as well.
yes, it is. It's a huge problem. What about the license and bonding? People come to you, different contractors, and they say, I'm licensed and I'm bonded. Um But then again, what does that mean?
So when a person says that they are licensed and bonded and insured, that means that they are a licensed company. They have a bond license, and then they also are an insured company. So if anything was to happen in your home as far as like installing your system, let's say we poke a hole in your wall, let's say we scratch your floors, we have general liability insurance that will cover that for you. Any defects or any something like that. Some
Hmm.
companies, us such as us, we are Better Business Bureau certified. you
Okay.
know um we make sure that we protect the customer's home because we want you to feel just as comfortable as you are feeling your own home.
Okay. So as a customer, when you're hiring a HVAC service, and actually I'm looking at anybody in as far as in the contracting world, and people tell you that they're licensed and bonded, what do you do as a customer to assure that if something goes wrong, that you have some recourse? Because I've seen where people have said that, and then, like you say, they can disappear.
Hmm.
Some people have said they just go change their name, you know, all that kind of stuff going on. So, how do you make sure that you hiring someone and the work is done properly? But if it's not, you have some real recourse.
Yeah, so what a lot of customers could do is, just like everybody do for the most part, whenever you're looking for, restaurants near me or something like that, the first place you go is Google. So whatever company came to your home, I would look them up on Google. I would check their website. I would check their reviews. I would check the different types of reviews that they do have. I would look at the negative reviews and I would look at the positive reviews. If the positive outweigh the bad, then they're a good company. Check their, ask them, hey, do you have a general liability insurance? Can you show me proof?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a certification? Can I see proof? You know, and we don't, and they shouldn't, pretty much feel any type of way, because you just pretty much just trying to take extra precautions because you
Sure.
want to make sure that you're being trusted. I'm being trusted with your money because you don't want to give
Mm-hmm.
your money to anybody,
Mm-hmm.
because HVAC is not cheap.
No,
HVAC is, I mean, thousands and thousands of dollars.
that's right.
So it's like nobody wants to pour that down the drain. Nobody wants put that water under the bridge. So with me, if somebody was to ask me that, I'm glad that you asked me that because I know I don't have anything to hide, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to service you.
Mm-hmm. So is there something that should go into the contract, something in writing? Because like I said, there's
Yes,
always the issue of what recourse do I have? I file a complaint with the Better Business Bureau. Go through all this bureaucracy, and a lot of people just give up.
yeah. So it mainly anything about over about $1,000 or something like that. I always recommend customers ask for a contract.
Okay.
And we always offer contracts with all our installations, because we want to make sure that we cover our behind just as much as we want the customer to cover their behinds. We all want to be protected. I'm still in biz at the end of the day, and just like they're spending their money with me, and I want to make sure that they are comfortable with giving me their money to trust me enough to install their HVAC unit.
Okay. Okay. So one of the other things I want to ask regarding the HVAC systems, I have a boiler, and then there's the forced air. Um, which do you think is most efficient? Um,
So the furnace is more efficient. Now you do have high efficiency boiler systems, and a boiler can be just as efficient as well, but it's high maintenance, high cost, high maintenance. What the
mhm.
furnace, on the other hand, they're easier to service, and you don't have to worry about like leaking pipes or leaking water, and running up the water bill, running up your gas bill. The furnace, if it's an older furnace, anything about 30 years or older can, pretty much be it can it can eat away at your utility bills. So I would recommend that, go with a furnace. But if you do have a boiler, I say keep it, because most people do say this, it's good heat, it feels good to them. But, definitely you want to get that serviced every year as well,
Mm-hmm.
because you want to make sure that you do preventative maintenance. You know, hey, I mean, 69 dollars, $100 every year, just to come out every year, just to prevent something from actually
Mm-hmm.
happening. That's what we want, because you don't want to just like, oh man, I just paid this bill, and paid that bill, and
Mm-hmm.
now I got to pay the HVAC man, $4,000. But at least if they were able to catch it before it happened, then you were prepared for it, 6 months before it happened.
Okay.
So with the furnace can be very efficient. They have different ones. They have 98% efficient furnaces. So it just all depends on what the customer is looking for.
Okay. So once a year maintenance is good, in terms of having someone to come out and check it out.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And what do you think about the home warranty services?
So with the home warranty services, like as far as like American Home Shield, I feel like they are the best out here.
Mm-hmm.
I recommend them over any other home warranty company,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of home warranty companies, except for this other company called Liberty Home Guard, they are pretty good, but they don't have a lot of business in Chicago because AHS, American Home Shield, is the biggest.
Okay.
The only takeaway that I pretty much don't like about American Home Shield is that, let's say, for example, if the customer do have a bad boiler system or a bad furnace, let's say you've been paying, American Home Shield, $120 a month, or $5,000 a year. I mean, you do the math, and you've been with them for, let's say, 5 years, and then let's say your furnace eventually dies on you. They don't want to give you that much credit towards a new unit.
And that's pretty much general across the board for home warranty services.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they are good for minor repairs, such as
Mm-hmm.
maybe some parts on the furnace, um, a new, like a washing machine, or like a
Mm-hmm.
dryer, or maybe a microwave. Those are typically some things they'll cover with no problem.
Mm-hmm.
But big expenses, they not really going to cover. So I always tell the customer, beware, and and make sure that you always put money aside, such as a high yield savings account, or maybe even a CD, stocks, or maybe even Bitcoin, because you want to save your money as something that's gaining interest.
Okay.
You don't want to put your trust in American Home Shield, because they're
Well,
not going.
let's just say not just American Home Shield, but let's just say most warranty companies for that part. You
Right,
know.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Right.
they're only going to do the bare minimum. I mean, you can't really expect them to do much. It's like, if they was to do that for you, they not really making any money.
Mm-hmm. And it's the same way with cars. They have some nice warranty services which I have used, but hey, if
Yeah,
that motor goes out or the transmission goes out, then now there's a different conversation. They're
right.
they're good
Because
for the
that's,
little
I
minor
mean,
for those minor
right,
repairs.
right.
Uh-huh. Right, right. Okay. Yeah, that's okay. Okay.
Yeah, so I'll say
So,
70/20, 70/20. So they 70% good, but the 20% when it comes to, big repairs, or
mhm,
as far as like replacing like a whole HVAC system. So just be prepared for them to tell you that they not really going to cover it.
okay. Okay. Wow. So what do you think the outlook outlook is for Black people getting into this business? Because it's something that needs to happen. And what is it that we need to be doing to assure that we get more people from our community into this business?
So what we need to be doing, I think that HVAC needs to be back in high schools. Um, it's a beautiful plan that
Mm-hmm.
Miss Doris is pretty much making, that she's going to try to push through city hall. So just going to lead that up to Ms. Doris if she eventually want to talk about that. So I'm not going
Mm-hmm.
to spill the beans too soon because I want it to kind of be a surprise. But we are trying to make a big, huge difference for the black community, for Black
Mm-hmm.
Chicago, because our black people need more jobs. We need more black businesses, and with trades definitely need to be back in high schools because not everybody wants to
Mm-hmm.
go to college. We need plumbers. We need HVAC technicians. We need electricians because we need people who knows how to fix things, repair things. Our man needs to know how to change a tire. We
Mm-hmm.
need to know how to do minor repairs. And that's what we lack as an ethnicity group, is that
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of things that we didn't know how to do anymore. Back in the
Mm-hmm.
day, in retrospect, a lot of those men went out there and cut the grass, knew how to do little repairs around the house, or
Mm-hmm.
had tradesmen businesses. But nowadays, it's the public schools is just trash.
Mm-hmm.
And Trump, he talks about that. Trump
Mm-hmm.
talks about the platinum plan, that he's trying to do for Black America.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I know there was a conversation about the number of Black people that are in Chicago and us having a percentage of those types of resources in the different areas. Because when you look at the city council, you got all of these different committees and all of these different areas, in education and in transportation and aviation and so on and so forth. And that if we have a certain percentage of people in the city, then we should have that percentage of jobs. But when we begin to look at reparations and we're looking at uh, supporting and supplying our own communities, that's a different formula there.
Hmm.
And so we have to look at what are the components that actually make up a community. And this is bringing me into our conversation about reparations. Um, do you feel we should have reparations?
Absolutely, I feel like that we should, because it's a debt that was promised to us. It was a debt that was promised to Black America,
Mm-hmm.
out of slavery. So we need our 40 acres in a mule because there
Mm-hmm.
was a debt that Abraham Lincoln, the land of Lincoln, is what he promised to us. But when Lyndon B. Johnson, when he got into office, he pretty much took that away. And, black people pretty much been voting Democrat for almost 60 plus years. And a lot of people think that they owe the Democratic Party.
Okay, we have lost him again. I'm not certain. Let's see. Are you there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay, then you don't need to get on your phone.
no, I can hear you now.
Okay. Okay, now you can hear me. Okay, so you can continue with your conversation.
Yeah, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you
I'm
were you were
sorry.
talking about Linda. You were talking about Linda B. Johnson.
Yeah, so I was talking about Lyndon B. Johnson. A lot of people think that we owe him. Well, not him, but a lot of us, as a black community, we think that we owe the Democratic Party a debt because we feel like that they gave us our civil rights. They gave us
Hmm.
our voting rights, but in all, technically they really didn't, because that's
Hmm.
what our Kennedy gave us that, but they assassinated Kennedy, and then Lyndon B. Johnson went on ahead and signed it. So
Hmm.
it was actually a Republican um man who actually gave us our voting rights, and And Abraham Lincoln was the land of Lincoln. He promised us that that debt that was owed to us. So I feel like that whoever that feel like that we don't deserve it, we absolutely do.
Yeah, there's been a constant battle, you know,
Hmm.
of trying to get the resources that we need, that are owed, that we deserve, and there's a constant battle against that with so many people, not only just the white establishment here in this country, but even now with the immigrants that come to this country and who really don't understand um, what this relationship is that we're having, and in some instances just don't care. But
Hmm.
when we look at communities, number one, we have to have an effective type of community leadership, and that's important. There's 11 components here of a community, and that's one of the first ones. And when you mention our aldermen and so many other people, ministers in our community, those people who have professed to be our leaders, it's just how effective have they been? And when we look at our communities and how they're looking and how much we're under resourced, where our educational system, everything has gone down, I would say that that's one area that we're really lacking in, and that is in having an effective uh,
Yes.
community leadership. And that
Yes.
those people who are going to stand up and not be afraid and not be wishy-washy when it
Mhm.
comes to speaking up for us.
Yeah, so I definitely agree. It's a lot of lackeys that's aldermans for us. A lot of them are taking, they are getting bribed. A lot of bribery is going on, in the city of Chicago. The city of Chicago has been corrupt for so long. And it's, and we definitely are making a difference. You have groups out here called Chicago Flip Red, and you also have the Chicago Conservative, Chicago Red, that's actually trying to make a difference in the community, because we trying to let our people know that we're not voting, for a Democrat just because, all of our grandparents and our parents and our aunties and our grandmothers, all of them has been voting, Democrat for so long. It's pretty much time for a change. And, not that, we're trying to let either party play kick the can with our lives. It's just that, we're going to vote for policies. We're going to vote for, you know, um, a person who actually mentioned that he wants to do something for Black Chicago. He wants to do something for Black America. Trump has mentioned that Black people has built this country. Trump,
Yes, he did.
Trump, could have easily, went off into the sunset and lived his life happily ever after, and until God, calls him home. But he's seen that the American people has been hurting, and the American people needs help,
And I
and
think,
we've seen that, when he won by a landslide. So
mhm.
go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, the other part of that is that we have informed citizen participation. That is another major component of a community, that we have citizens that are not only participating, but we have citizens that are informed. And when we're voting, it shouldn't be just for a party. It shouldn't just be for a particular person
Hmm.
because of what color they are or how we think they look or what have you. But it should be for those policies, somebody that's going to fight for those policies that are important to our community.
Right.
And it brings me
Because
to that movie that Muhammad Ali did with while he was uh, blacklisted, so to say, from boxing, and he did this movie called Freedom Road. And he, after the Civil War, was selected by the community to go to the governor, to go to the state, to represent their specific interest. And we
Mm-hmm.
have too many people now um, that are not representing our specific interests. They're trying to say they're for everybody. They're ignoring the concerns of the people. And then we have people who are not the representatives, who are not informed. You got to know our history.
We do. And a lot of us don't know
You
our history.
got to know our history, and you got to know our plight, and our fight and our struggle in this country. And you got to have some concern about it. And I think we have too many people, too many citizens involved, pushing narratives, making decisions, and getting into these different forms of leadership that are uninformed and insensitive to our needs.
Yes,
I
yes,
can't give any other excuse why people would just ignore, you know, the concerns. And so that is going to be very, very important. And then as we talk about supporting Black businesses, that's where we get into a sense, a mindset, a consciousness that we
mm,
live in a community and that we are part of a community. I have gone to talk to people about supporting our Black bookstores, and they tell me about bookstores in other communities. Well, fine and good. While they have a business right in our community, and it's the Black people in this community that are supporting their business. But when I tell
yes,
you about another business in this industry, you telling me about something somewhere else.
yeah.
Um,
It should not be a crime, or we should not be, you know, we should not be felt guilty for wanting to support our own people, because you see other ethnicity groups such as Mexican Americans that only supports their own people. Now,
mhm,
do you have Mexicans that probably may support Black businesses? Maybe, but it's kind of very rare, because
mhm,
they are very big on culture. You
mhm,
have Indians, you have Asians, all of them support their own culture.
that's
And
right.
there's nothing wrong with that. And we have to do the same thing, because they want to invest all of their money. They want to keep their community thriving, and they want to make sure that, they wash I'll wash your back, you wash my back. It's just
Mhm.
that I care about you, I love you, and I just love my community. I love my people. And it's nothing wrong with being pro Asian. It's nothing wrong with being pro Black. It's nothing wrong with being pro Mexican. If that's what they want to be, then they can be that, and we can be pro Black. It's nothing wrong with that. And we should not be
That's
held,
right.
and we should not be felt. We should not feel guilty for feeling such as pro Black, because I love my Black people, because I'm a Black
That's
man.
right. And there is a sense of pride, I think, that comes out of having a community where you live, where you work, where you play, where you support, where you're thriving, where you're investing and you're getting back. There's a sense of pride
Mm-hmm.
that comes with that. And then there's when you have community, then there's these all of these services that are needed in our community, like what you're doing is huge. Um, and it's these types of services is where a lot of our tax dollars are going. Okay. We got buildings, we have schools, we got parks, we got libraries. When they started to build out in the south suburbs of Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
there was very little municipality. You're going out to places like Matson, and they started building all of these homes out there, and
Mm-hmm.
there were not as many schools, there was not as many police and fire. They had to build all of these, and this is where your tax dollars go.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And then you have people like yourself that so much needed, and that's why we need more people, and that's why your schools are important, and you're investing money into your schools so you can
Mm,
educate and train people and bring people out like yourself that are going to come back and support the community, that can provide the services that we need, and that's going to give back.
right, right. And that's what we need. We don't need, anybody who doesn't, love our country, that just want to, break it, or, anything like that. Because at the end of the day, you have other people that, that comes to this country, and, we were born here. We lived here pretty much all our lives, so I don't have any other country that I can go to that's
Mm-hmm.
going to accept me like America, because I'm a Black
Mm-hmm.
American. So it's just like, I am going to, you know, um, I want to make my tax dollars work, because I can't take my money and send it back to my home country.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that. We can't allow, illegal aliens to, come here and, reap our benefits, reap the benefits that we have invested into this city, this great city. Um, because they have not invested any money into
Mm-hmm.
this city, into our communities. But they can just come over here and just, get everything that we have worked for.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely not.
And
But if it
especially when we're already being under resourced, okay,
exactly.
especially when you're closing our schools and you're gentrifying our communities, and
Mm-hmm.
you're pushing our people out of the communities, and people like yourself, having a hard time getting into different fields. You're still having to deal with all of this discrimination and
Yes.
racism, and
Mm-hmm.
and and the playing field is not the same for immigrants that come here.
A lot of them say, oh, I came over here with nothing, and I did this,
Mm-hmm.
I did that. But that's, we see that's not true. Because we see, the that $574 million that they have gave, to the illegal aliens. And
Mm-hmm.
and it's not anything against the legal, you know um visa status citizens that came to this country legally. No, we're not
Mm-hmm.
talking about them. We're talking about the illegal, people who crossed the border illegally and came over here and, and got money from our mayor and governor. But you see that your own citizens of this city that's been paying their tax dollars for decades, and their tax dollars aren't working for them. And we need our
Right.
tax dollars working for us.
That's right. That's right. So, yeah. And so these are the kind of discussions that we have to have. Uh, our families, we have things we need to deal with as far as our families are concerned, as far as our schools are concerned, most important,
Mhm.
as we educate our children, because they all are going to grow up, you know. It's children that we have in kindergarten and first grade and second grade, they're all going to grow up.
Mhm.
And what kind of community, what kind of opportunity are we leaving for them? And so we
Right.
have to be thinking like that. We have to be thinking about our children and our generations to come.
We
And
do.
so, absolutely. And so, and you are in a wonderful field. You are doing a wonderful job. And we know, I think something we talked about in the last show was that what you have the opportunity to do. You have the opportunity to employ people. You have the opportunity to expand your business, created apprenticeships. And so what are some of your visions around that those subject matters are?
So eventually, yes, I do want to start offering, apprenticeships. I want to start, going up to my, to different high schools, and maybe even show them, maybe like a quick little mini course, show them how to, maybe work on, a furnace or an AC or something like that, and even once maybe they turn, once they seniors or something like that, I can always tell them that, hey, if you're looking for a job, if you're looking for a career, then you can always look into, coming over here with Sensational Heating and Cooling, and we'll train you up, and we'll pretty much get you ready for learning how to fix, heating and air conditioning systems. And I actually want to, help public schools get HVAC back into
Okay.
our schools. We need
Mm-hmm.
trades back into our schools in our high
Mm-hmm.
schools
Mm-hmm.
because
Absolutely.
it's we it was something that was put in high schools for vocational, and we need it back.
Absolutely.
It's sad that it's a lot of things that you have to go to college for just to really get a proper education. Carter G. Woodson even said that it took him over 20 years to get over his high school education,
Mm-hmm.
and that still pretty much speaks volumes to this day, because we see the same thing that's still happening. And even just like his quote said, back then as well, you know. If the same hand, that pushes him into the ghetto, the black man into the ghetto, but still needs him the same, to feed him, then how can he ever get out the ghetto? And that still speaks volumes to this day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, wow. We do have a lot of work to do. If someone was interested in this field, what's the salary range? People are always looking at different careers and trying to see, what the salary is, along with, what the work itself would involve.
Mhm.
But what are the average salary ranges, for people if they're working for a company in HVAC, they had their own business, or they were in a managerial position? What are the salary range looking like?
So a if you are a rookie technician, or if you just starting out, you can be a maintenance technician, where
Hmm.
you just maintenance systems, or you can be what do we call that? You can be a building engineer. You
Hmm.
can be that, and usually that salary starts anywhere from about $22 to $25 an hour, and then it can go up based on your experience. So
Hmm.
usually the starting range for about just coming out of trade school, or vocational school or something like that, you could typically get paid anywhere from about $22 to $23 an hour, which is not bad coming out of pretty much trade school. And when I
Hmm.
first came out of trade schools, I was only getting paid $14 an hour, but
Hmm.
I worked my way up to getting paid $30 an hour.
Hmm.
Even $35 an hour. So, you can even max out at a company at, well over about $65 an hour.
Okay.
So you can make six figures or more in this, in the HVAC industry. And
Hmm.
even if you branch off on your own, you can make, millions of dollars. But you just have to make sure that, you get your experience up, and
Hmm.
you actually put pride into your work and actually want to do it and help the customers.
Hmm.
Because it's easy to keep the same customer than it is to get a new customer.
Hmm.
So, but that when that customer that really likes you and really supports your business, that same customers is really going to just promote your business and tell everybody, her friends, family, everybody about your business. And that's going to get you more work, more referrals, and just by keeping that one customer happy. So
Okay.
don't too much focus on getting new customers. The same customers that you have, focus on them. and
Mm-hmm.
they will pour into your business as well.
Right. And you, as so many people that I have spoken to who have businesses out here, as a friend of mine stated, you shouldn't not to work for money. Let's put it that way, and focus on the work itself,
Mhm.
and the money will come. I think that's what you're
Absolutely.
saying.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
And
The money definitely will come. And I don't. It's some customers I'll service their furnace for free, and I didn't even look for any money. It
mm-hmm.
was just something that, I'm a God fearing man, and I always look to help, my customers.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I know I am still a small business at the end of the day, but I know I'm blessed, and the money is always going to come.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I know one thing I think that what that needs to happen. They used to have career days at school, and they would have different people from different professions to come out and just talk to all of the children, even in grammar school. Come in and talk to them about different professions because a lot of children don't know. You'd be
Hmm.
surprised what people don't know if somebody hasn't told them, because there's so many professions out here that a lot of people wouldn't even know about, wouldn't even believe that, people are working and making money out of doing what
Yes.
they're doing. So there again, lack of knowledge. So I think
Yeah.
having career days and having people like yourself come out and talk to these children in first grade, in
Hmm.
second grade and third grade every year, and they get inspired, you know,
Yeah.
by looking at you and seeing that you're doing this work and the kind of work that you're doing and how much money you're making and what the opportunities are there for them, I think is very important. So that's something I feel needs to be brought back, as
Hmm.
well.
And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like economics need to be in schools as well because a lot of our, young black men and women and young men and kids, they don't really know anything about finances. They don't know anything about writing a check, signing the back of a check. We need that in schools.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of men today don't even know how to write a check. And that's something that should be taught in high school. So
Mm-hmm.
we absolutely need that. We
Right.
need that. They need to know about loans. They need to know the importance of credit. And as soon as they get out of high school, they are already set up for failure because the school system failed them.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things do start at home, but it's a lot of things that the parent can't teach. And it's a lot of things that schools should be teaching, but the basic knowledge at home does start at home first, and then the schools needs to pick it up from there.
And I think what you're talking about is functional skills. So there's functional financial knowledge, financial literacy skills, something
Hmm.
that you can use. Even when we're learning about the government, there's functional governmental skills that we need to know. Who
Absolutely.
are these people that are representing us in our country? What
Hmm.
are their responsibilities to us? How do we go about making sure that they do what we need them to do? As
Absolutely,
opposed
because
to the way even the way they teach foreign language in the schools, is not taught to help you learn how to speak that language. I'll take Spanish for 4 years, or I'll take French for 4 years. What I will recognize is a French name. I have maybe some vocabulary, but I'll know how to pronounce your name. I'll know how to pronounce those words in French or in Spanish. But do I really know how to communicate in
hmm
that language? So I think our education in certain areas needs to become more functional,
it
so that
does.
just like you come out with your certification and you are ready to work, we need children coming out with an education where they are ready to make the right choices in life and become a part of our communities and know how to work our government and all of our systems here.
Hmm.
So I
And
think
we
that's
need to
what's going to
know
be
about
important.
the U.S. Constitution.
That's right.
The 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment.
Hmm.
When I was in the eighth grade, that was a requirement to pass. You had to get it 100% on the U.S. Constitution.
Hmm.
So that's very important because we have to, know our laws. We have to know all of our amendments. We have to know our
Hmm.
First Amendment rights, Second Amendment rights, Third Amendment rights, so on and so forth. So that's very, very, very important because, like you said, we have to know uh, who's representing our country. We have to know the president. We have to know our governor. We have to know our mayor, and we have to know what these different types of legislative branches does.
That's right. And we have to know how to get involved as citizens and make these different entities function in our best interest.
Hmm.
And so that's going to be very important. Well, David, this has been great information. It's been wonderful talking to you. I'm definitely looking forward to working more with you. Our organization is very proud that you're out here doing what you're doing, and anything that
Thank
we could do to continue to support you, we're here. But I want to thank you for taking your time. Like I said, friends and family, this is Sensational Heating Air. This is David Mason. He is the owner. He's servicing the Chicago area, and you can reach him at sensationalheating.com. That's his website, and the phone number is 773-597-7585. And I'm expecting to hear bigger and better things from you because I think you're definitely on the right track and definitely have the right mindset here in terms of what you're doing. So
thank
you're in
thank
your truck, still trying to get this done, still out here working, but
Mhm.
taking time out to be with us tonight. And again, I want to thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you. I definitely appreciate it being on here.
Okay. All right. And friends and family, also, you can go to rrgbc.org where you can watch part one and part two of the interview that we have with David. You can also subscribe to become a winner of our book giveaway, The Groundings. Um, and also, you can support our organization with donations or purchase from our online store. So, most of all, I want you to remember to please support Black businesses. That's very important. So, thank you for coming tonight.
All right. Thank you.